Hi everyone, we are Team 36. Our project is called Real-Time Emotional Insights, Understanding Australia's Sentiment Through Social Media. We built a cloud-based system to find emotional trends in real time. We collect posts from Reddit and Mastodon and analyze what people are feeling, happy, sad, angry, or nature. Our goal is to turn social media into a window of public emotion and show you how the mood of Australia changes over time by place and by topic. Well, first of all, we use Kubernetes to deploy and manage our service on the Netcar cloud. Fortunately, this year we have been assigned a floating IP, so we don't need to configure the Bayesian host anymore. Instead, we can directly connect to the cluster through the config. And in the Kubernetes, we have one master node, three work nodes, and all components deployed in our Kubernetes namespace: Elasticsearch, Kibana, Fission, Redis, and Keda. Apart from that, the config map are mounted as environment configuration for secure and dynamic access to credentials and parameters. And this is our system architecture diagram. Our system is built on Kubernetes and deployed it in the Netcar cloud. It follows a clear pipeline from data sources to ingestion, processing, storage, and finally visualizing on the front end. For data sources, we collect data from two social media platforms, Mastodon and Reddit. Mastodon provides both real-time and historical posts, while Reddit gives us live data from selected Australian-related subreddits. In the ingestion stage, we use Fission to run multiple harvesters. All collected posts are pushed into Redis, which acts as a temporary buffer. We also use Fission timers to trigger this harvester at scheduled intervals. And in the processing stage, Redis data is pulled by Fission functions. We use save to Elasticsearch and Redis to ES to clean data and send to Elasticsearch. Meanwhile, sentiment scores were added too. And then we can use election filter and landmark filter to filter the posts related to the election and landmark. And all processed data is stored in Elasticsearch and organized into four main indexes: Mastodon and Reddit for raw data, Mastodon election, and Mastodon landmark for filtered subsets. This setup supports both real-time harvesting and filtering. As for the front end, our front end is a Jupyter notebook that calls Elasticsearch using RESTful APIs. We return JSON data from backend and visualize it using Jupyter Notebook. It supports 5 main types of analysis, and my partner will discuss it.
Our front end, developed in Jupyter Notebook and backed by Elasticsearch, showcases 5 analytical scenarios based on social media data, primarily from Mastodon. These scenarios reveal how public sentiment and engagement evolve over time across users, topics, politics, and geographical locations. In scenario 1, we examine how sentiment and activity fluctuate over time. We look at both quarterly and daily trends. Over the long term, posting volume on Mastodon has steadily declined, dropping significantly from early 2023 to mid-2025. However, average sentiment scores show interesting dynamics. Despite decreasing activity, sentiment improved in certain quarters, suggesting that the remaining users tend to be more positive. In contrast, 2024 Q4 experienced a noticeable emotional dip and peak in volatility, hinting at possible external triggers. At the daily score, we observe typical weekly behavior: spikes in posts and emotions midweek, followed by a calmer tone at the weekends. Together, these charts give us a comprehensive view of emotional rhythm in online communities, both in the long run and in the short-term cycles. The scenario two shifts the focus from time to users. We analyze who contributes the most and how emotionally expressive they are. Some users post thousands of times, far more than average, suggesting either heavy engagement or automated activity. When we categorize content by mood, we find that neutral posts dominate, but positive content consistently outpaces negative. Notably, in the most recent quarter, the proportion of very positive posts increased, while very negative sentiment decreased, indicating an overall uplift in tone. This kind of user-level analysis helps us understand not only platform dynamics, but also emotional health within the community. We can generate images of different time periods by changing the time in the code, just like this. Yes, and we run the code again. We can get a picture different from the one that before. And in scenario 3, we turn our attention to topics by analyzing hashtags. A word cloud of the top 30 tags from 2023 to 2025 highlights OSPO as the most dominant tag, followed by those related to race, literature, and activism. A sentiment breakdown reveals contrasting reactions. Tags like books and fiction evoke highly positive sentiment, while others like death trend more negative. Looking at more recent data, we can see new topics emerging. Good living, vote like, and poetry gain prominence, reflecting a shift toward lifestyle and civic engagement. Overall, the emotional tone tied to hashtags has become more positive in 2025, especially around cultural themes. This scenario gives us a clear picture of what people care about and how they feel about these issues in these tags. And similarly, we can change the code again, and here we change it to 2024, and on the first day in May, and run the code again, we can get a different word cloud plot and the bar chart.
Scenario 4 explores political sentiment by tracking mentions of major Australia political parties. We find out the Labour Party received the most attention by far. However, it's the Labour Party that consistently receives the most positive sentiment, while the Greens shows a strongly negative average, often associated with climate or policy categories. When comparing full period data to recent weeks, sentiment around the major parties improves slightly, but the overall patterns remain consistent. We also include the most extreme posts, both positive and negative. For each party, these examples help us contextualize the numbers and highlight the specific themes or a rhetoric that shapes the political opinion on the platform. And we can use the time, change the time here. For example, we can from 2023, we change it to 2024, and let's run it. Okay. Finally, the scenario 5 explores the geographic sentiment through landmark analysis. And when we zoom in and zoom out, we can see the heat map. We identify the areas in Melbourne where social media users most frequently post about using the heat maps, mainly the city center and the southern coastal spots like St. Kilda Beach. Sentiment scores attached to these landmarks show that Brighton Basin boxing consistently receives the most positive attention, while Queen Victoria Market has attracted growing negatively over time. Even within the short periods, emotional trends shift. For instance, St. Kilda Beach saw a drop in sentiment in 2025. This special participate reveals how people feel about the specific place, helping us understanding the changes in public perceptions and urban experience. Okay, here we used like two maps. One is Mastodon and another is Reddit. So we can also change the time here. For example, we use 2023 to 2025, and we can run it. And these 5 scenarios form a layered understanding of online sentiment, combining time, people, topics, politics, and the geographies. Together, they offer a rich lens into public option, enabling us to detect meaningful patterns and shifts in how people engage, express, and respond within the digital landscapes. Of course, throughout the development process, we faced several challenges. At one point, our vision controller crashed, and we have to completely reinstall and reconfigure the environment, which delayed our development schedule. We also encountered the API rate limits from Reddit, which required us to implement delay and retry logic in our data harvesting scripts to avoid being blocked. Another challenge comes from sentiment analysis. Since we use the vendor rule-based tool, it sometimes struggles with scrums, irony, and or context-heavy posts. While we recognize these limitations, we choose Veda as a lightweight and fast solution that still provides useful overall trends. To conclude, our system is capable of collecting the real-time social media posts, analyzing the public sentiment, and presenting the results through clear, active visualizations. It supports tracking emotional trends over time, detecting highly active or influential users, performing landmark-specific sentiment analysis, and basic tag-based topic tracking. So thanks for watching our demo. You can find the full report and the source code in our GitLab. We hope you enjoy exploring it.